Today we're going to be talking about rounding. Not just rounding, but how to round to the nearest tens place and the nearest hundreds place. Rounding is when you're finding the value in the tens or hundreds place that is closest to a tens or hundred. Let me show you. This time we're going to look at the number 23. All right, so if we have the number 23, and we have a number line, a curved number line right here, that starts at the number 20 and goes to the number 30. At the top, we have the number 25. Let's find out where 23 goes. So we're going to have a mark here. This one would be 21, 22, 23. 23 would go right here. So you can see on this curved number line that 23 is closer to the 20, which is the tens value 20, than it is to 30. If 30 is way over there, so we can see the value of 10 that is closest to 23 is 20. Let's try another one. This time, we're going to look at the number 28. So I have 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 goes right here on my curved number line. When you look at it this way, you can see 20 and 30 are my tens that are out. They're on either side of 20. Oh, excuse me, I said 28 and I wrote 23. But you can see that the value of 10 that is closest to 28 is 30. 20 is a lot farther away. So when you're looking and rounding, you're finding the value that is closest to the number you're looking at. We're ready to try to round to the nearest or the closest hundred. Let's look at this number. We have the number 456, but this time I want you to round to the nearest hundred. So if you look on our number line, we're going to see, where does 456, which side is it closer to? Is it closer to 400 or is it closer to 500? Because we're rounding to the nearest hundred. So each one of my lines is going to be a 10. So this is 410, 420, 430, 440, 450, and so 456 is going to be about right here. All right, so 456 goes right there on the number line. So let's look. What do you think? Do you think 456 is closer to 400 or do you think it's closer to 500? I'm looking and I'm thinking this is the closest. So the value that I'm going to round to, I'm going to round up to 500 because 456 is closer to 500 than to 400. Here's a little chart that helps you remember when you're rounding what you need to do. First, you're going to find the number. If you're doing tens, you're going to find the tens place. Then you're going to look at the number next door. Boop, 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 boop. You're going to look right here. If it's 4 or less, you're just going to ignore it, and this is going to be 4 or 40. If it's 5 or more, which is what it is, then you need to go up to the next 10 value. So if you're rounding 45, the answer would be 45 is closer to 50 than it is to 40. Let's try our hundreds right here. So this one, we're looking at the hundreds place. So first I find my number in my hundreds place. That's my first step. Then I look right to the right next door to it. You can see I'm circling the number 2. That is the number right next to it. Now the rule tells me if it's 4 or less, I'm going to ignore, which means I'm just going to keep it at the same 700. It tells me 721 is closer to 700 than it would be to 800. So if I were going to round, I would round to 700.